for taking the time out to educate our listeners about fibroids, which is very common among African American and Latino women. How come approximately 80 to 90% of African American and Latino women get fibroids?
There's several factors. The first one we will touch on is diet, because with African and Latino women, they may be eating certain foods that are more pervasive in terms of, let's say, animal flesh or dairy. The quality of the food itself sometimes may be questionable, depending on the neighborhoods they live in and what is available to them, or information about diet and how to eat in terms of holistic health may be lacking. And also in terms of the chemicals they're exposed to. One of the major causes of fibroids, tumors, cysts, and so forth, is not just animal flesh and dairy or refined grains and sugars, but also perm, for example. They've had a link between the lye and the other chemicals in the perm that if you use it over a long period of time, it messes with your hormones, and a lot of toxins in the body will lead to fibroids. So African women as well as Latinos have been exposed to a lot of perming or hair straightening chemicals or relaxers and all these other chemicals that are used under the guise of beauty. And those chemicals are a contributor to fibroids, cysts, tumors on the ovaries, and so forth.
Well, my mama always ate meat growing up and dairy, and she never had fibroids. So why does it have to be linked to what we eat, sarcastically speaking?
No, that's fine. Great question. We get that question quite often because there's a direct link. It's not that everyone is guaranteed to get fibroids, basically because they eat animal flesh or dairy. Obviously, if that's the case, 100% of everyone that eats animal flesh or dairy would get fibroids. So it has to do with how your body eliminates or deals with the toxins, how much of it you're exposed to, the type of lifestyle you're living. For example, well, my grandfather ate bacon and pigs and everything, and he drank whiskey, and he still lived to 100. Well, your grandfather probably never lived in air conditioning. He probably lived out in the sun sweating every day, doing manual labor. The type of animals even that they did eat wasn't as filled with chemicals as it is today. They probably didn't eat a lot of GMO, genetically modified pig or chickens. So even the very flesh that they did eat was more pure and natural. And they still ate a lot of vegetables and things they grew on the farm. Someone's 100 today, they grew up in an environment when everyone had a garden, side yard, backyard. They picked their own collard greens, string beans, everything. They grew a lot of their own food. They didn't just buy everything in a supermarket from a big conglomerate, filling it with chemicals. So those factors cannot be ignored, that we're eating today way worse than our grandparents or even our parents in some cases. And so you're going to have diseases now at 30 where before most people didn't experience that till 60 or 70 because everything is more filled with chemicals and jacked up today. And there's also stress factors as well, the type of environment you're in, work environment, as well as are you sweating a lot? Do you perspire to detox? Do you take cleanses often? Do you live an active lifestyle? And believe it or not, even your clothing. One of the sections of my book deals with toxic beauty and chemical castration, goes into even the clothing. When I educate women on the type of bras and type of panties they're wearing, whether they're using tampons versus pads, all these factor into how many toxins you keep up inside of your body, how that affects you over time. That would be the answer. Everyone that eats animal flesh is not going to get fibroids because the level of what you're eating, the amount, and your overall lifestyle, those are factors that will determine which women will have fibroids and which won't have fibroids.
So what exactly are fibroids? Like, how is a fibroid formed?
Fibroid or tumor or cyst, sometimes referred to in the early stages, is an abnormal growth of tissue in the body based on hormonal imbalance and toxicity combined, because the hormone is a big part of it. If you have too much estrogen in the system, for example, estrogen is a growth hormone, and that's why they use estrogen pills and estrogen injections in chickens to get them to market from birth to like 6 weeks fully grown, or they use it in cows to keep them continually in a perpetual milking situation like they're pregnant or just gave birth so that they can keep on milking them. So when you're taking a lot of estrogen in your body in the form of flesh or dairy, eggs, or estrogen foods, even like soy, which is an estrogen mimicker, or in the form of birth control pills, which is 100% estrogen pill, or plastics, which give off plastic-based estrogen, which means if you microwave your food in plastic containers, you just release estrogens into the food. If you leave your plastic bottle of water in the car and it goes to 120 degrees and you drink the water, you have just exposed yourself to plastic estrogens in your water. So any one of these processes that puts a lot of excess estrogen and other chemicals into your body, the body then tries to take those toxins and create like a trash bag. I'll make it simple. So imagine if you're dumping a lot of trash in a house and the body is basically going around and picking up all the trash, and it has to have some place to put the trash so that it's not just swirling around in the house. So it creates a trash bag and it starts accumulating the trash in the bag. And as you get more and more trash in the bag gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And so think of a fibroid as like a trash bag made up of tissue and materials with all kinds of things inside of it. And it could be inside the wall of the uterus, or it could be outside. You have pedunculated and other different names that they give them depending on where the fibroid is within the uterus. But the gist of it is it's a trash bag of toxins, not just physical, but also can be emotional, because the uterus for a woman is a second brain. That's where you actually do a lot of your intuitive thinking. So if you have a lot of stress issues or things that you're bothering you that you keep focusing on, or issues that you haven't resolved from past relationships, and that can be stored in the uterus as like negative energy. So that's basically how a fibroid is formed, both physically and as well as spiritually or metaphysically.
Okay, so now, doctors always give us two options. Either you take birth control or you have it removed. How come many doctors do not recommend changing your diet?
That's because most doctors, believe it or not, are actually not trained in medical school in terms of diet. They actually spend most of their time dealing with drug effect, drug treatment, drug dosage. They're really doing what I call poisonopathy. They deal with how to mitigate and manage poisons being put into your body so pretty much they don't end up killing you. And that's really the bulk of what they focus on. So they study extensively in how to put a chemical in your body, how much of it is needed to not overload your system, or if you are overloaded, how to deal with the trauma and emergency procedures. So I think most medical schools only give one semester, if any, in nutrition. So a lot of them are really actually not trained in nutrition, to be honest with you. Secondly, a lot of them are also now tied in with contracts to push certain drugs. We live in a world today where a lot of your so-called medicine is litigated because they have contracts with certain drug companies that say they can't talk about certain things. They have gag orders in some cases where they can't recommend things to you even if they wanted to. They'd violate their contract, and then they wouldn't make their $250,000 they can make every year from pushing drugs for whatever contract that they've signed up with. So we educate people on that. Like, there's a lot going on behind the scenes as to why you end up with a certain kind of health scare you end up with. We don't call it health care, it's health scare, because their idea is to scare you into doing all kinds of crazy things that has nothing to do with overall health and wellness. And so they call that health care. No, if they really care about you, they would teach you about the proper ways to live in tune with creation, with nature, with universal laws, so you can then take back your power and live freely and powerfully. And that's what we do. So that's why they always want to push drugs first, because a lot of times they're being paid to push that drug. And then secondly, if the drug doesn't work the way they claim it should be or they're thinking it's going to be, then surgery is the next option. So we refer to them as drug pushers and butchers, because first they push a drug, and if that doesn't work, the same guy in the white coat will start trying to carve you up just like the butcher. He used to wear a nice white coat and he carves up the meat.
So many women have been suggested to do hysterectomies and got through, like they actually did the hysterectomies, and it grows back. You're going to put this woman through this very scary procedure that changes their whole life. Now I'm assuming once they take a hysterectomy, you're taking away what produces certain hormones or your second brain. So now you need drugs. And then on top of that, you're not changing your diet. You're not changing your other lifestyle factors. Next, you know, the fibroid grows again.
That's correct. Because if you don't address the root cause of an issue, we deal with root cause analysis. So we always want to know what's causing it. So they deal with what's called reactionary symptomatic analysis. They look at the symptoms. Oh, you have a runny nose. Okay, we're just going to give you something supposedly for the runny nose, versus what's causing your nose to have mucus coming out of it on a regular basis. Now you have to go back now and analyze, what are you eating? What level of toxicity is in your body cause your body to detoxify itself using your nose as an exit point, because mucus could come out of any of your openings, really. So why is it in the upper respiratory area? Why is it not vaginal discharge? Why is it not coming out of your, in your bowel movement? See, when you go to the root cause, then you'll start realizing what's happening. So they don't do that because that would be trying to really fix the problem to make it go away. Here, it's more like slap a Band-Aid on it, deal with the symptoms. That way you can always keep coming back and having something to sell you or to prescribe for the runny nose, when really you need to find out what's in the diet, what's causing your entire system to be clogged with mucus to the point where your body is now using that as a way of pushing toxins out. So the mucus itself is not the problem. The mucus is the symptoms letting you know there's a deeper problem. The body's actually cleansing itself using the mucus by trapping the toxins in this mucus that becomes more thick and yellow. As the mucus becomes more toxic, or the mucus has more toxins in it, the color will change. Clear, healthy mucus is actually good for your body. I want to clear it up right now. Your body needs liquids in its system to lubricate itself. So clear, healthy mucus is in your body all throughout your system to help things flow. Your saliva is a form of mucus. The tears in your eyes are a form of mucus. That same clear liquid lines the entire intestinal tract to help things slide out of your system. That same clear fluid is in your joints. It's between all the bones in your spine, for example. It's the fluid that your brain sits in your head. So when it's in a healthy, clear form, there's nothing wrong with it. That's really how it should be. As you become more toxic, the body starts trapping the toxins with white blood cells, and then the area of the body that the clear liquid used to be in now becomes thicker, more coagulated, and then the color starts changing. So it goes from nice clear to slightly white, yellow, could even become green, brown, blue if it becomes really serious, like a pneumonia situation. So that's when most people associate mucus being a bad thing. But mucus is in your body in a healthy form. It's clear, and you need that's how it should be to help things move around. They want to recommend hysterectomies because hysterectomy is also big business. Let me touch on that because I want a lot of women out here to listen and listen very carefully. A lot of times, there's a huge aftermarket of body parts, and the female reproductive body part, as well as anything associated with your reproductive system, is very high value item in that market. A uterus could literally sell for $100,000 on the black market, maybe higher in some cases, depending on the situation of the uterus, what kind of research facility wants it. Placentas, afterbirth, fetal matter. All these are used in stem cell research, anywhere from beauty creams, all kinds of cosmetic items. I mean, a lot of women not aware that you're rubbing on your lips aborted fetuses and placentas in some of your lipsticks, some of your foundations, some of your anti-wrinkle creams and all this stuff. If you go and research what's in it that makes it work so well to keep your skin soft and smooth or to reverse aging, you'll find that it's tissue from the most precious part of your body, which is your uterus or your placenta or an aborted fetus. So you need to be aware of that. Someone's also promoting something to you that they may have a vested interest in as far as the sale price. When they're trying to schedule you for a hysterectomy, a lot of hospitals have already put up bids on your uterus. Like, let's say I schedule you for an appointment next week or next month. I already have bids on that placenta or that uterus when it comes out. If it's a birth, it would be a placenta. If it's a hysterectomy, it would be a uterus. So they can't wait for that surgery to take place because you may already have 5 companies behind the scenes bidding to get your uterus to go put in their laboratory or to use in one of their beauty products.
I wonder why they can't just ask you. You know how, like, on your license you have, like, do you want to be an organ donor? I wonder why they can't just ask you, hey, do you mind if we use your discarded body part for research purposes?
If they made everything open and honest, most people would say no. They know most people would then be awakened to what's going on and then would decide not to participate. So by not even allowing you a choice, they get a higher percentage that way. Because if you wake people, the public up and start telling them the truth, a lot of people will be like, wait a minute, no. Why would I give you a placenta for free? You have to understand that the theft that's going on here. It's theft by trickery or theft by deceit or theft by non-disclosure. These are legal terms that I'm talking about. Because if I came to you and said, I just want your placenta for free, I'm going to sell it for $100,000, but can you give it to me for free? What's your natural response going to be? Wait a minute, you're going to sell it for how much? You want me to give my placenta for free? Oh wait, better yet, you want me to pay you to cut out my placenta so you could sell it for $50,000 to $100,000. So if you understand how much fraud and deceit is happening and how much you're being taken for a ride, if that's the case, I shouldn't pay for the surgery. I always ask women, especially when they're dealing with these surgeries or these births, because we deal with a lot of women with assistants, helping them with doulas and natural birth. I said, how is it fair for you to pay, let's say, $5,000 to give birth, and then they take your placenta and sell it for $50,000? If that's the case, shouldn't they owe you like $45,000 back? I mean, what kind of math is that? How am I going to pay you $5,000 to go take something from me to go make another $50,000 off of? I shouldn't have a bill. If you're going to sell the thing you're taking out from my body and you're going to sell it for $50,000, how can you then bill me for $5,000 for the procedure? So if they're selling your placenta, they owe you money. You can't have a hospital bill. You should have a hospital payment. The hospital should be paying you, not the other way around. So this would flip the entire scheme that's going on its head. That's why they keep it secret.
In the case that people may not believe what you're saying and say, like, oh, no, this is just holistic God that believes in conspiracy theories, how can people research just to make sure what you're saying is legit?
Great question. And I always say to people, don't believe me, get to know it for yourself. You can literally Google this information. You can go to the AMA, the American Medical Association's journal. There's articles about organ trafficking. You can Google organ trafficking on the black market, whether it be organs for women, kidneys, livers, all kinds of organs, lungs, down to even bones and skeletons. They're literally taking dead bodies and, removing the bones and using those for replacement parts for other surgeries. And there's a black market for this all throughout, not just this country, the world, where these organs are being trafficked And some are done above ground, let's say, where people literally have put them up for bids and they can bid on them in certain markets. And a lot of it's also done totally black market, where the bids, nothing is illegal about it. They're not allowed to do it above ground. It's all underground. So I would advise everyone to research everything you hear me say, whether this particular topic or anything you hear me say throughout this interview, for yourself, so you can get to know this information. Don't just believe me or anyone else. You always cross-reference, especially today in the age of technology. You can look up almost anything on the internet. And you want to read more than one source. So you want to, read at least 5, 10, 15 articles or sources, so that way you can start seeing a picture coming forward. Because you could always find an article on anything. That doesn't mean that individual article is correct. So you want to always do what we call comprehensive research. If you read 10 or 15 or 20 articles, after a while, you're going to start seeing an image coming forward. But go to these sources. Go to the New England Journal of Medicine. Go to the American Medical Association. Go to places where actual doctors or people who make a living from researching the medical industry publish their articles. So you're not just listening to any random person, people who actually, the industry or whistleblowers who came forward, actual doctors, actual people who used to do the procedures in the background, or people who worked at the corporation that deal with all the body parts. They come forward and you hear from actual whistleblowers themselves who were in the industry or who saw things happen firsthand. That's always the best kind of sources, firsthand knowledge. So that's what I would advise them to.
So what would you recommend for women that do have fibroids or other uterine problems that don't really want to do the surgery?
If you have fibroids or cysts or tumors or any kind of abscess or anything on the uterus or anywhere around the entire reproductive system, whether it's on the ovaries or it's linked to the fallopian tube, we have an all-natural Fibroid Buster Kit. That would be the first thing I would recommend. It's all natural, herbal based by New Body Products. Product line has been on the market since 1976, tried and proven by millions of people all over the world. So that's why I decided to add that to my ministry in 2010 after doing the research and using some of the products myself. I usually don't offer or sell anything to the public that I didn't take in certain shape or form. Obviously, I couldn't have tested the Fibroid Buster Kit on myself because I'm a man and I didn't have fibroids. But I tested several other products. I tested several other products because we offer 118 different products from that company. I had products that my mom used, my sister. I had several people close to me use products before I decided to even offer that to the public in 2010. And that's the first thing I would offer to any woman who has fibroid, cysts, endometriosis, anything dealing with the female reproductive system, or just want to get their womb nice and clean for pregnancy, because we also want to make sure people understand you don't have to already have a quote-unquote problem to clean out your system. If I have clients who are trying to get pregnant, or they know they want to get pregnant coming up soon, and they know they haven't been eating right, they know they're eating all kinds of crazy things, and I would tell the young woman or the lady, do the Fibroid Buster Kit. It will thoroughly cleanse your entire female reproductive system, and it's always best to be clean before you conceive, because you'll have less problems during pregnancy. Your baby will be in a healthier environment. You'll be healthier. You won't have a lot of crazy weight gain or pains, or should have less fluid retention, ankle swelling, all kinds of things going on. You have a clean reproductive system. So if you already know you want to get pregnant next year, let's say, you're already talking about it with your spouse or whoever, then go ahead and do the kit now. Clean up your system and prepare yourself now. It's always better to clean up before you get pregnant, because once you're pregnant, certain herbs are too strong for pregnancy. You'll have to use the other lighter herbs during the process. So it's a little bit longer to cleanse while pregnant versus before pregnancy. You can really hit it and get everything knocked out. So that would be the first thing I would tell them. Fibroid Buster Kit. And then while they're doing that, they have to address their lifestyle. They have to address the diet, exercise, and stress. That has to be addressed. You cannot ignore that. The Fibroid Buster Kit is not just some quick magic pill that you take. You have to change your lifestyle, removing all animal flesh, dairy, sugars, and reducing your processed refined grain, because if you're a starchaholic, that could become a problem as well, because starches converts into sugar. And remove soy. We found historically dealing with soy products, soy milk and soy meat, they also have phytoestrogenic properties as a plant-based estrogen that mimics our estrogen, and that creates problems in the body. So some people that are vegan that eat a lot of soy, I still have clients like that where they have a lot of problems they have to deal with. So we get them off the soy and cleanse their system.
Well, you never had to take the Fibroid Buster Kit because, you're a man, but the reason why I have you on this show because I've actually used your product, and I want to ensure to everybody, Jahson did not pay me to use any of the products.
That's correct. We always make sure that's out there so that's known from the public's perspective. Yes, we do full disclosures right here.
Yes. The reason how I came across the Fibroid Buster Kit is I actually know Jahson through his wife. His wife and I, we went to school together, And as she went through life, she went the more natural way. And then she was promoting the Fibroid Buster Kit. And around that time, I found out I had fibroids. So because my friend advocated about the Fibroid Buster Kit, I wanted to take it because first I had a 1 centimeter fibroid. Then it grew to 2 centimeters. Once it grew that whole centimeter, my doctors recommended me to get surgery. But because I did my research about fibroids and how it can grow back again, and my friend, Jahson's wife, promoted the Fibroid Buster Kit, I said, you know what, let me try it. So that's how I officially got to speak to Jahson about the product. I purchased his product in October. So from October to February, I noticed a change once I followed the plant-based diet. My first indication was my menstrual cycle was not health. My menstrual cycle, I had constant nausea, constant defecation. I was feeling very weak. I could not be productive. And if I was at home, that's no problem. But even at home, I don't want to waste a day being sick. And it also affected my work performance. So that was the first thing I noticed, that my cycle was normal. It was a painless cycle. And also what other people noticed, I started getting skinnier because with fibroids, it causes you to gain weight, whether you get swelling in your stomach. So people started to notice that I was losing inches. I didn't necessarily lose numbers, but I lost inches, which was fine with me. What caused it to mess up is that I took a birth control pill that messed up everything. So this is why I'm doing the Fibroid Buster Kit the second time. And I'm going to reiterate, Jahson did not pay me for me to take this pill. It's not like a get rich whatever. No, I saw what worked, and that's why I'm doing it again. And I want to educate people on this product that is available that not just myself have used, other people has used as well. You definitely have to try a plant-based diet. I know for us, we're meataholics, we're sugarholics, we're dairyholics, but that's what got us, in my opinion, in this situation in the first place.
Right, exactly. And so that's why you start the Fibroid Buster Kit or any cleanse kit with us. We always advise that you have to stop taking the things that cause it in the first place, because we wanted you to maximize the process as well as your investment. I mean, if you purchase a product from us, we want you to get, as we say, the best bang for your buck. So while you're on the cleanse, we don't want you messing up the cleanse. We don't want you putting things back in. We want the cleanse to spend its time getting rid of the things that's already in the system from months or years ago, not the current things you're eating this week or next week. So we always say you want to be on a plant-based diet. You can maximize the entire cleansing process and get the most out of the Fibroid Buster Kit. Yes, and we thank you for your incredible work to reach out to not only do this interview, but to you've already been spreading the word to several people about this product, because this is what we need, is women like you who not only do it, but share it with others so the world out there can know this solution is here, it's been here, it's tried and proven. It's only a matter of how you're going to make it work. It's not that whether or not it works, it's how do you work it. My goal is to help clean up at least 1 million wombs. If I can clean 1 million uteruses out there, help to change the minds of 1 million women to go towards a plant-based diet, and then that precipitates around themselves, their family, that's going to cause a massive ricochet effect throughout the world. So you're helping already to do that. By spreading the word as well as participating, you're actually literally helping to make that a reality. So we really want to thank you for that.
Well, thank you for having this product available, because I would have went to the butcher shop, got it cut up, probably felt temporary relief after the healing process, went back to my normal diet and normal lifestyle, and it grown again. So if people want to get more information about your holistic ministry,
first and foremost is the holistic portal that we put together called thirdeyevisionsUnlimited.com. We do personal consultations for people who want to figure out themselves, don't know what they're about, or if it's a specific health issue, or they have a health goal they're trying to achieve. We do holistic parenting consultations for parents who are trying to conceive, want to conceive, already conceived, want to learn about natural birth, how to get in touch with doulas and midwives. They want to learn about not vaccinating their children, how to get vaccination exemptions if they want their children to go to school. My last daughter, she was delivered at home by me on my bed. So we've done a home birth, unassisted with nobody else but us. The midwives came later to deliver the placenta. By that time, she was already latched on the breast and breastfeeding. We did a lotus birth where we left the placenta connected to our daughter for 4 days, and it fell off naturally on its own. So by doing certain things and living it, we can then educate others who would like to be interested in this type of path. So we have consultations and workshops as well as webinars. We'll have a YouTube channel, Third Eye Visions Unlimited. where we have testimonials there, including one about fibroids by a sister who had fibroids removed surgically, and then they grew back. Why? Because the doctors didn't tell her about the whole diet piece, the holistic piece. So they wanted to put her back under the knife. She heard about us as well and decided to take our kit to get rid of the fibroids. So that testimonial is also at the YouTube channel. And we're also on Instagram as well as Facebook under Third Eye Visions Unlimited. So they can reach out to us through any of those mediums, and they can purchase all of the products at thirdeyevisionsUnlimited.com. We ship anywhere in the world. So if someone's listening to this, you're not limited. You don't have to be within the 48 United States. We have women as far as Botswana taking this Fibroid Buster Kit. I have repeat customers in Botswana. We ship to London. We just shipped 2 packages to Germany and Canada and calls from Denmark and wherever.
Well, thank you for taking the time and spreading the good word about an alternate way to treat fibroids so women can have more options to take care of their health. I mean, they should always go to the doctor to check their fibroids, but then after they know the information, there is options available to treat it naturally, at least as your first line of defense.
That's right. Always know that you are of creation, that you are parcel of nature, and everything that you need is already here provided for you. Herbs are for the healing of the nation. It is in every holy book, even books that are not considered holy for those who are maybe atheists or agnostic. It's still in those books written down. So everything you need, a spare part or a remedy, is already here in nature. Thank you once again for having me and for helping to spread the word as you're now one of our holistic soldiers. Martin.
Well, thank you.